Clarity Empress, the Empress of Clarity, here to bring a collective energy reading for my Clarity Empress collective. I hope everybody is well. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment in the comment section. Let me know if the reading resonates with you. All right, y'all. When you like, share, and subscribe, make sure you ring that bell. That way you're notified anytime I come on. I hope I made this public. I'm feeling like I left a step out, but we'll see. All right, so I am well, bite. I hope the same for you. Peace. I'm tired though. I don't even know why. I wasn't that tired. I know why. You know, when I take a pause in my day, that's when I let tired settle in on me. I shouldn't have. Shouldn't have. I should have just kept it moving. So what's going on? What's new in your life, bite? What's new? I'll have something to share. Alright, so I got this from the library. I ain't been in the library in ages. Okay. This freaking book is so cool. I have to show y'all some of the artwork in this book. Okay, cool. Cool. Who is that? I wanted to show y'all. Where the heck is it? Oh, I gotta look in the table contents. Let me see. Okay. Anansi, there we go. 50. Look at the artwork in this book. As well. What is this? Chimera? That shit ugly as hell. Tricksters. We got Anansi. I love this artwork in this book. We got Eshu represented in here. What else? Hold on. Wait a minute. It said Eshu. Hold on. Oh, there go Eshu. Okay, so check this artwork out. So no, Eshu is a messenger, but they consider Eshu a trickster god. He's not a god though, he's a deity. Like, they got shapeshifters in here. And listen, with the veil being so thin, I think we're going to see a lot more of these creatures manifesting. Because people have been seeing things and showing it on camera, and it's just crazy. Like, some of it we know is AI, and some of it we know can't be. It's crazy. There's a Siberian, what did they call that thing? The Siberian something just showed up. They was like, that is not AI. Oh my God. But I just hope AI don't distort everybody's vision, you know? Anywho, thank you for coming to the channel. Listen, it is time to ward off these energy vampires. I'm going to give you a couple examples, but one at a time. So an energy vampire is somebody that just wants to suck your energy for the sake of their own entertainment sometimes. They'll just sit there and they'll drain. You know those bots. What's up, Black Cherry? You know those bots. Like, you get people, trolls, that's the best way I could put it, but they bots. When you go and you post something and these, all of a sudden somebody's randomly disagreeing with you, making no sense, just for the sake of argument. You know what I mean? Just to draw you in. Those are energy vampires. We have to learn to avoid those people. They are they would drain you. It's a couple times where I've seen something in the comments and I had to stop myself from responding because I don't even think I need to engage. If you that stupid, in my opinion, to think the thoughts that you're thinking, I don't really need, I mean, am I stupid to argue with you? You know what I'm saying? So I learned, I don't know how long ago, but I learned to just leave it alone. Like, let them have their thoughts. Don't spar with anybody. Pull your energy back. That's one version of an energy vampire. And it's really, you cannot control the energy vampire, but you can control you. When you recognize that this person is pulling your energy for the sake of pulling your energy. Let me see if I can find a card to represent that. You got to learn to pull it back. You have to. You got to conserve your energy because right now we are very depleted. You know how they say people live check to check? Well, we are like battery to battery as far as our social batteries with people. And we have to be very clear and concise as to where our energy goes. Okay? Another energy vampire is somebody who likes to see you upset for the sake of harvesting your energy, causing chaos and conflict in your life, having you solve problems for them that they could easily solve if they took some time to think. But they bring it to you. They bring it to you. Here, this is a version of understanding what that is. So that you can solve it. Because, you know, you the puzzle solver. You the healer. You know. What else? Oh, yeah. With that, people who gossip about others or to the point where it's mindless, right? It's one thing if you sharing your opinion with a friend, but to just always be talking about the same thing, the same people doing the same shit, or you know what I'm saying? Like that's an energy drainer. Again, different if you are venting to a friend, right? But when you are just, yeah, that devil energy, just sucking somebody dry of their time, wanting somebody to plug your hole up, somebody who always has chaos and conflict. People want money all the time, you know, full of pride and ego. And you know what's another energy drainer? Those people that don't change, meaning like where you see them today, next year they in the same spot, doing the same thing, complaining about the same thing. That's an energy drainer. Somebody who always got the same thing to complain about. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing ever goes well. It's always a problem. And it's not necessarily that they want you to fix it. They just want to talk about it. And you listen. And you know that is usually a trauma dump. You know, but some people never stop dumping the trauma. Meaning they never have enough trauma to, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can I put this? It's like their trauma never ends. So, oh girl, let me tell you. Oh boy, let me tell you the worst of the worst. Oh, it gets worse. Those are energy vampires, y'all. Now, if you're talking to them and they got a lot of stuff going on, but life is actually improving and they have proof that they're not in the same place or worse than they were the year before, that life is actually changing, then that means they're evolving, right? But some people they don't ever evolve. They stay toxic. They stay negative. You know what I mean? They also, you know, an energy drainer will be your perpetual victim. Somebody is always after them. Somebody is always saying this about them, doing this to them. They never stand up for themselves, or if they do, it's very fleeting. They like a jellyback type energy. Somebody don't they're a coward. Those are energy drainers. Even if you care, they're an energy drainer. We got maniac here. That's an energy drainer. Somebody who always got a crisis for you to fix. Here's a double-minded individual. Somebody who has the inability to think rationally or make simple decisions. Double-minded person is restless, confusing their thoughts. I heard a whole word today. I'm gonna share some of it with you. So I was watching a video about a lady who got married and went on a cruise with her husband and realized the husband um, suppressing. The husband didn't want nothing to do with her. He was a cheater. That's an energy drainer. He was a cheater. She knew this, but she couldn't. How can I put this? Church hurt. If you know what it is, you know. If you don't, church hurt is when you go to church or a religious order, really, um, and you obey commandments and things like that that would be detrimental to you. For example, when I was going to Bible study as a teenager, the topic of Ruth in the Bible came up. And according to what I remember, Ruth had a husband that was very abusive, according to the Bible study we were doing. Now, I don't know if that was right or wrong. I'm just telling y'all what I remember. And I asked the question, well, why couldn't Ruth get a divorce? Why wouldn't she just leave the husband if he was abusive? And the elders just they just laughed. They just laughed. They couldn't really answer the question. They didn't know. I was just like, I mean, I fail to understand, why would she stay with a man that would hurt her? Like, why would that be a choice to let that go, right? And I learned quickly that these elders really didn't know that Bible, and they also didn't know how to answer basic questions. And I was over it. Um, but in churches, when people project, I would say, not just churches, but people project their ideology onto you. And this particular woman, I think her name is Kia, um, they went to the pastor to bless the marriage prior to the marriage, meaning, get some marriage counseling. He admitted all the cheating and blah, blah, blah. And the pastor still sanctioned the marriage. Instead of saying, you're not ready, he's not ready, he's probably not the one, he's hurting, he's got some issues that keep him cheating, they let this woman marry this man, or they married her off to this man who only proceeded to hurt her further. That is church hurt, because there was no responsible pastoral leadership to intervene in what was happening to this young lady. In that interview, hi Lena Afan, bye. In that interview, the young men that were interviewing her were particularly, I feel, kind-hearted to her because of the things that she admitted. This girl had been through so much trauma that it had me in tears, as she'd been crashing out online, stressed out, don't know how to react, gave up her kids to her father and grandmother to raise so that nobody can come and just take them from her. Um, and literally had a crash out situation 20 minutes before that interview. And didn't tell anybody until like she was damn near done. And I really appreciate that these brothers had planned and brought on a therapist for her to talk to her during that interview. And this woman ministered to her, but And appropriately and respectfully, she told her, you need to stop. And that is what this is, I would say this download is about, right? Um, we need to stop. Sometimes we just have to stop. Take a moment for ourselves, right? Stop doing everything and take a moment for yourself. She explained this to this young lady. She was like, I know you feel like you're strong, because you are strong, but you have to stop. You are spiraling, and we want you here. But if you keep going in the manner that you're going, you're not going to be here. That man had literally tried to take her car. No, he did he take her car? No, he tried to take her car. The police were called. Neighbors were concerned. She was trying to leave him quietly. He was picking up on the fact that she was pulling away and she was done with him, but she was trying to be nice about it, smile, whatever. But they always know. And I don't mean they as in men. I would say he was very narcissistic with her. So they always know. Why? Because if you're in close proximity to them, they can see your movements change. They might it appears like they have intuition, but they study you. So if your energy is off with them and you're not really sincere, or the typical sincerity that you typically have for them is gone, they know. If you try to be recluse from them, they know. Those are mechanisms to protect yourself, but at the same time, it's a telltale cell to them, that you aren't really feeling them because you're not allowing them to cross your boundaries. And she mentioned how she had a rapist, and that, or a grapist, I guess we gotta call it on YouTube, right? She had a grapist that was still in her family that she still sees. And she would smile throughout this interview. And she's like, I don't know why I'm smiling. I guess that's how I deal with stuff. Oh my gosh, she was wrenching my heart. And she just thought she was supposed to just take it. Like, all of the things that she had gone through was just for her to take. Thank you, Black Cherry. I was like, what is that all about? She thought that she was supposed to take it. That, that she deserved it, that it was all hers. And that woman, that I don't know what her name is, I have to go back and look at that, but she mentored to this woman, and she told her, she said that just because that happened to you doesn't mean you're supposed to be carrying all of that on your own like that. You need help. And she said, some of the things that I've been echoing to you all for a minute. She said, our parents shape how we perceive ourselves. No, this wasn't from her, but no, I think it was her. Different sources I got this from, but I'm a paraphrase. So she said, our upbringing, our parents, that dialogue to us shape us. If they tell us that we're nothing, we internalize that and believe that we're nothing. If they tell us we don't deserve, no matter how they treat us, those words is what we internalize, and we end up believing we don't deserve. And that this particular young lady has been through so much damage by the people who were supposed to raise her. They failed her. They failed her. For her to have, or be able to see the person that raped her regularly, because they're a family member, is crazy to me, right? But there's also that dialogue when people don't come to save you, but they are actually the ones perpetrating against you. Excuse me. They do more harm than you can just grin and bear. You understand what I'm saying? So Um, and this other guy I heard today, I guess it was all kind of like blending the message, but he was saying, survival of a narcissistic parent is something you never fully ever get over. Because he's oh my god, he said to have a parent like that shapes you, right? He said the way they push you because they don't love you. He said it's like if you were to be entered in a race, right? They will break your legs, scream at you to run, and get mad that you can't run because they broke your legs and they don't care that they broke your legs. If you understand what I'm saying, that's what they do to your psyche, that's what they do to your soul. And this young lady, she was trying so hard to grin, to smile through it. But when that lady was talking, she cried, and she needed to. She needed to purge. Um, she needed somebody to talk to. She had made so many videos, and people told her get off the internet with all of that, and she was trying to hide it. Um, she was trying to push through. She thought this was the way to go, and it wasn't. It's not. It's not. She needed to step aside, pull away. There were people as she was looking for a place to stay, people willing to open their doors, meaning apartment communities like, oh, I recognize you, come here, we'll set you up, we'll get you a deal, blah, blah, blah. Everybody wanted her to get away from that man in that situation. Mm, 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 mm. And she was on her way. And then that particular interview that day, he got locked up. She said he hopped in a lift, and because her lift and his lift were connected, the cops took her phone and tracked him down, and that's how they locked him up. Black Cherry was telling me subsequently that she announced to people who donated that she got her place and that she had just enough to get in, and that was just to get her started, which was beautiful because she needed to be away from him, and his place and her place were together, so she couldn't necessarily keep him out. I don't know, after what happened, she could get a restraining order. I don't know what state she in, and I don't know how that works, but she's gone. She's out of there. But yeah, when we hurt, when we have childhood trauma, it really shapes our self-worth. I feel like that came out in the reading last night because I think self-love was there. If it wasn't last night, it was the one before that. And I could feel what Spirit was telling me is that somebody's challenged, and what's hidden is their self-worth. It's hidden. um But surprisingly, and that's why I was telling you earlier, that the young men were very respectful of her and her pain as she told her story. I felt like they handled her with kid gloves. They were not judgmental. Although I could feel the judgment coming because a couple times they wanted to ask some questions like, so you did it anyway? Like, I don't blame them because I was thinking the same exact thing that they were thinking. But they were very respectful of her to not harm her further. At least that's what they were not trying to do. And the fact that they had a psychologist ready for her to talk to her, so to help her understand that her pain is real and valid, and that it is something she's going to have to work through, but not always on camera like she's been doing, because she literally been crashing out instead of getting the help that she needs. And for me, it was touching and it was powerful because we be needing that sometimes, like somebody to stop us and say, wait a minute, hold on. I get that you're upset. And before you dismiss your feelings, know that your feelings are valid, right? That's the starting point to an awakening, is recognizing that, you've been hurt and your feelings are valid. I think that she just kind of made excuses for herself and other people. She kept trying to show up. That's what she kept saying. I just want to show up because that's what I need to do. I need to show up. I need to show up. I need to show up. And she was slowly inside just breaking. They were like, I know they were flabbergasted. I didn't get a chance to finish the interview, but they were flabbergasted over the fact that that thing just happened. What you about to do? Toilet paper for both bathrooms. That's downstairs. That's the last time I saw it. Okay. So, it was just a really deep interview, vantage point into the vulnerability of this young lady. I pray for her that she really gets the help that she needs. I hope that she can maintain a relationship with that lady that was offering some support for her. She need real friends. That's another thing. She didn't have real friends. She had people in her life that were attempting to take advantage of her. She had a friend, I believe, that cheated with him, one of the 13 or more. I don't know. His mother was off the chain, disrespectful. Only like one lady that I think he was married to previously who had moved on. It just was very ugly. And then he had an audacity to not want to leave the situation with her. But yeah, he didn't want her. It didn't make no sense. You don't want her, but you won't let her go. Make it make sense. So, yeah, and he was basically an energy vampire for her because he just didn't want to let go. He didn't want to let go. He was double-minded. He was a cheater. She said he had a good job, but then couldn't keep a job. So he had a lot of pain, I would say. He had a lot of trauma within him that he wasn't addressing or didn't think he had to. He projected onto her and hurt her. After she told him she didn't want to be hurt and that she was trying to heal. But, sometimes we think being quiet, being abstinent, all of that stuff, celibate or whatever, is healing. And it can be. But if you don't get down to the core of why you were hurting in the first place, you are doomed to repeat that. And that's essentially what happened. She gave him the playbook and told him all the things that would hurt her. She shared that with him. I don't want to go through this anymore. I don't want to go do that anymore. And I was, it was another video I was watching where it was a stitch, right? So this man, you see the man's foot and you see the child, and the child's holding a sandwich and there's a puddle. And he said, be careful. Don't drop your sandwich in there, okay? Because that's a puddle and it's nasty. You won't be able to eat it. All the child heard was, drop your sandwich in there. So that's what the child did. And so we have to, and the person that did the stitch, her point was, we have to be very intentional what we say to spirit when we desire something, that we don't call up the very thing we don't want. Just stick to what you want so spirit can deliver that. Don't confuse spirit with, I don't want no more of this and I don't want no more of that, because it's going to give you more of that, right? Focus on what you do want. Now, if you cutting cords or something like that, then you spell it out. But when you manifesting, right, you need to speak with intention. And I felt like what she was trying to do was manifest a good relationship with this man by sharing all the things that hurt her in the past and for him not to do. And then he turned around and did everything and then some to hurt her. So we got to be very intentional with people about our pain, and to the point where maybe not mention it. Everything that hurt you is not what you hand people a playbook of. Well, she don't like this, he don't like that, whatever the case may be. Take it how it resonate. And once we give them that, if they are energy vampires, they're going to take your playbook and then use it against you. They'll store up that information, and when the time to strike, they strike. And it's a very cunning energy, very calculated to make sure they inflict the most damage. Stop giving people your playbook. Male or female, stop giving people the playbook to hurt you. That's where they find your weak spots, right? It's like, say if you were boxing or, MMA fighting. I'm just, throwing that out there. But you find the weak spot. You know that the back where the kidneys is a soft spot. The stomach, the groin area, right? You jab somebody in their neck, you're going to hurt them. There's pressure points. If you learn those things, you know how to hurt people. Stop giving people your pressure points. Stop giving people an angle to come at you with. Stop oversharing with people. Allow people to get to know you organically, and you vice versa do the same. But make sure you have begun your healing journey so that you can recognize the signs. You know what I'm saying? You can recognize red flags and not paint them green. Because that's what she essentially said. Literally said she was packing up them red flags, but she was making them green. Because every lie he told her, she was it was something else for her. It wasn't what she turned it into something just so it could be palatable, like she could swallow it, so she could justify it, so she could find a way to be okay with it. She said every person this dude cheated on her with, she felt that literally. She felt it in her soul every time he did it. And she still married him because she let doubt creep in. And you know how that is. She kept giving them benefit of the doubt. And what I tell you all the time on this channel, stop giving people the benefit of the doubt. Right, I had someone tell me that I'm guarded and that it's like pulling teeth to get to know me. That's because of trauma. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Listen, I am vulnerable with a lot of people, but I also detach too, right? And I can share, when I share my trauma, is usually at that point in time I've already healed from it for the most part. I feel like you never fully heal, but healed enough that if I see or think that's what you're doing to me, I'm done, right? But everybody's not there, because you have to recognize that within yourself, that if you see the red flags, and that's what I feel bad about her, is that she had been done wrong, but she didn't get enough. She didn't get the healing she needed to recognize, oh, okay, we going down the same road. But that's what it was. She said he wasn't her type. So she thought that God packaged the right man in a different type for her. She said, but technically, he really wasn't her type. So she said, maybe my type is the problem. So she was more open to him just because he wasn't her type. She gave him benefits of the doubt. She gave him a chance. She also tried to befriend him first, which was the healthiest way to try to do it. But she gave in. Eventually he wore her down and the mask fell off eventually. You know what I'm saying? And so he was able to manipulate her because she was being Christianly obedient, right? Listening to, I guess, those who talk about you know, what a woman should do and a man should do in the Bible, but not giving her a realistic vantage point of what a good relationship was. It was, she felt bad at the after the wedding, like, maybe I feel bad these people gave me gifts. Maybe I should give them back. No, I'm going to stick the marriage out because I promise I'm not getting divorced because blah, blah, blah. She really thought she just had to stick this thing out and take it with the long haul. So she was willing to put up with abuse. She was willing to be celibate in the marriage just to stay married. She said, because she didn't want to be wrong with God. She said she'd been wrong with God already. She don't want to be on that side of God. She want to be on the right side of God. She want God to love her and treat her right. So she's going to be obedient to this. You know, mm, 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 mm. And the man that I was listening to, he was saying how the cycles of abuse that you go through as a child set you up to tolerate that shit as an adult. 9 times out of 10, you have an enmeshment with a toxic parent that makes it hard for you to get away. But then by the time you do, it's already ingrained in you to accept abuse. And this young lady, and I don't know if it was her father or her mom. I don't know where her mother is, so I don't know. But she was raised to accept abuse, and then she did not want to disappoint people. At times she did, though. She would be reckless. So then when she did that crash out stuff online, she didn't care at those moments in time. And they played some of the video, and he was hesitant. He was like, I don't know if I want to play this. But, I just want to play one of those crash outs so you can see, so we can understand where things were going and where they led to. And she watched that and was like, I don't even remember doing half of that. So she literally was probably blacking out or drunk or something when she had that crash out moment. And she didn't even realize she said half of the things that she said online. Now, I can only imagine some of her other videos where she just compartmentalized and blacked out some parts and just flowed. You know what I'm saying? Y'all. Whew. Mm-mm-mm. And all because she had let an energy vampire into her life. She had not done the healing she needed because she didn't understand what needed to be done. I feel and I pray that the right people had started to intervene from at least by that video. I hope she's still talking to the lady that was I think she was a therapist and a minister, or she might have been a Christian therapist. I don't know, but she was ministering to her about her mental health. And I find no fault in what she was saying. I was like, somebody finally talked to her. I'm like, when she said, yeah, this all is just, he went to jail and all that just happened 20 minutes ago, and here I am because I had to show up. I was like, oh, girl, what you mean you had to show up? Going through trauma will give you a certain resilience, because it's like you feel like your capacity knows no limits. Some people feel emboldened by their trauma because they can overcome it. And that's what she felt. She felt like, I'm overcoming this and I'm going to be able to help somebody else. But the lady said to her, first of all, stop worrying about helping anybody else. You will be able to help somebody else. But right now, stop all of that and focus on helping you. Because when I tell you, this poor baby is all over the place. I mean, she ain't no child, okay? But she is still immature in how she handles her life because of the trauma that she's been through. And she has children. She has her own children. I don't know how old they are, but the amount of cheating this dude was doing. he could have gave her something. He might have gave her, I don't know, but he could have gave her that package that she can't get rid of, or took her life a different way, or down a different route based on what he was doing, all this cheating. Some of the women, she said, reached out to her feeling bad that they had cheated with him because he was lying to them and telling them that them two were estranged when they weren't estranged. The shit was so convoluted, y'all. It all roots to her trauma patterns, thinking that she deserved in some way to get what she's supposed to get, or I should say to get what she was receiving. Um, she thought in some ways it was okay, I gotta go through this so I can help other people. You don't have to keep going through it. She definitely felt dumb, or numb, I should say, to dealing with him anymore. I think her feelings started to shift finally, and she started realizing, I don't want this no more. But she was like trying to play the role, trying to keep the peace, trying to be safe. She was in the, I think, spare room, she said at one point. Brought her little fridge in there and didn't want to come out, and was like, I just need my space. And he saw right through it, knew, and was doing everything he possibly could to sabotage that straight vampire. So what do you need to do, right? You have an energy vampire in your life, a maniac, somebody who's controlling, enmeshed with you, disrespectful to you, um, don't want, obsessed with you, don't want you to make a move without them, don't want you to grow, whatever. Okay. Couple things you're going to have to do. One of the things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to start plotting and planning an escape. And that requires finding those soul tribe people or family members that you trust, that will keep your confidence and help you out. You got to make a plan. You got to make a plan. Maybe a date, when you got to have all your ducks in a row. Whatever those ducks are, whether it's lining up a job nearby where you're going to be. Finding the right environment that you can rest your head in and not feel like you got to get chased away. Being able to be interdependent within that environment, right? That's where the job comes in. A safe, loving, and nurturing environment, or a safe clinical environment. And when I say clinical, I don't mean hospital, but I mean like you rent a room. It's clean. It's devoid of that person. You know what I'm saying? It's spotless. They can't come there. They don't know where it is. You can rest your head. You can have peace. You have to seek a therapist when you're dealing with stuff like that. You gotta go seek somebody that helps you with your plan. You know what I'm saying? You gotta talk to someone who gets it. And you gotta vet them out to make sure. Do your due diligence. Have you dealt with trauma? Have you dealt with divorce? Have you dealt with bad family members? Have you dealt with narcissism? Like, make sure they specialize to understand whatever your particular issue is, as much as that they could possibly grasp. So start getting some coaching on how you can exit that situation safely. Because when people realize that you may be moving on, they tend to turn up that mania. They tend to turn it up and get more crazy and more obsessed and more controlling. So yeah, you're gonna have to be careful. You're going to have to walk with kid gloves, so to speak, or handle them with kid gloves. You're going to have to be very private, and you can't be playing around with people's flying monkeys. Like, whoever you trust can't be somebody that they confide in. Okay? So if y'all got a mutual, that possibly ain't the one to tell. Just saying, because they will monkey wrench whatever you got, especially if they know how to pressure people into revealing things. What they got planned, what they plan to do. I know they trying to leave me. No, no, no. And then that person like, well, it's kind of hard for them to talk to you. That's all they got to say for that person to realize, oh, they've been talking about me. Or they've been planning to leave me. Oh, okay. You ain't even got to say much. So you got this person, whoever this was resonating for, you better make a plan. Okay? Then you gotta go through with the plan. Like, you can't set all these people up, you know what I'm saying, get people ready to receive you, help you, support you, and then you flake the first chance to exit. Now, they say people in domestic violence it takes them anywhere between, on average, 6 to 7, which means some people 6 to 7 times to actually leave, meaning attempts. So that means a little bit less or a lot more, but somewhere in the average of 6 to 7 times. Count how many times on 2 hands have you attempted to actually leave your situation. Figure out where you are on that average scale. So determine how ready are you to move on, right? And mean it when you do it. A lot of times you can't know the day or the hour, or you do know the day or the hour. When they are completely occupied, distracted from you, don't have anything that belongs to you, like your car or something major that you need, because they'll hold on to some stuff to keep you stuck. But it got to be something you can let go of. You get what I'm saying? So if they hold on to something you want, it's going to have to be trash. Fuck it. In your mind, you don't need it no more. Okay? So get your most important things together. And not only do you plan and coordinate your escape, but you take your exit and you go. And you put yourself in a position that they cannot harass you to come back to them. Because that's a thing too. The 6 or 7 times it takes for you to leave usually means you probably left a few times and they harassed you back. Or you attempted to leave and they impeded your progress. And then once you've moved on, that's your opportunity to decompress. You're going to need a minute. Slow down. You don't have to press go immediately. And, then you got to start moving forward. You got to have things in place to help to remind you about your situation so that you make better choices. So that you come out of your situation not being downtrodden, depressed, and low vibrational. You may be all those things, but the plan is supposed to help you alleviate those things and get beyond it. So you got to strike a plan. And you got to execute. And you can't be no punk about it no more. You got to make up your mind. Ready to go, you got to go. You got to go. Whatever it takes, you got to do it. Whatever you set in motion, you got to execute in order to leave that situation. Now, if the situation involves family, it does become very complicated, because if you go into another family member's house, it could get ugly, because the rumors about you can chase you to the next house. And if you make one wrong move, people will see, oh no, so and so was right, blah blah blah, and the gossip mill started, and all of that. So you just got to make sure where you're going, people see you for you, understand who you are, and open their doors and welcome you. Or again, you get your own space, a room you rent that you can afford, and you clean your slate and you start fresh. Whether it's divorce, whether it's a family, whatever, or combination, you're going to have to execute a plan. It might require talking to an agency for support. We had an agency called Women's Space. They changed their name. I don't know what it's called right now, but it is a safe haven for domestic violence for women. Um, women in their families, so their children, are welcome, and they find them shelter, to shelter them away from the domestic violence person. It's just up to them to not reveal where they are and not break down and call them and go back to them and all that stuff. And that is not available everywhere. Okay. So you have to basically survive on your own, I would say on your own networks. As we go through all this SNAP benefit situation here in America, community is going to be crucial to our survival. Our connections, our network, the people we meet, the people we learn to trust, they will be crucial to our survival. Aside from domestic violence, just survival in and of itself. Keep that in mind, okay? But there needs to be a plan, an action, and you need to actually follow through on your plan. Otherwise, what is the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna have to be resolute. I'm done. I don't want to experience this no more. I don't want to hurt no more. I don't want to cry no more. I want to be well. I want to be wealthy, happy, prosperous, joyful, loved, all the good things. I want all the good things, right? And you're going to have to cut the cord with this person, that attachment, that trauma bond. That lifeblood they able to suck from you as that vampire. You're going to have to cut them off. They can't come and feed off of you anymore. And once you put your foot down, you will feel better. You'll feel better. You'll feel lighter. There will be probably struggles of withdrawal, because there's an addiction in that trauma bond to that relationship, the hot, the cold, the dopamine, the oxytocin, the cortisol, stress. It's all of that is a toxic mix within that cycle that keeps you stuck in a situation longer than you need to be. So that's why therapy is required, because you're going to be fighting an addiction to a toxic individual or whoever in your life that is draining you and pulling on you. You got to be careful who you give your time, attention, and energy to. Period. Period. Okay? I hope that resonates. I hope that makes sense. I hope that is so far helpful. On my LinkedIn bio, I'm sorry, link bio, that's what's called, link bio, which is on my About Me page on this particular, on this page here. I have it on all my socials, my Twitter, y'all can't get to my Twitter right now, my TikTok, and my YouTube, and my Instagram. You can be able to go on that link and you click link in bio, and you'll see mental health. That's one of the links. It takes you to NAMI. NAMI is an association, a national, I don't even know, but it's for mental health. And there's a series of numbers on that page that assist with you finding emergency solutions or just solutions, support, that you need to clear your mind and find your direction. Like, lost on this journey comes up a lot in the cards when I pull. So there are people here, you really feel lost on your journey. And the reason why I say that is because who are you? And do you know who you are? And that was another thing that came up today. Who are you? And do you know who you are? And who are you is not, I'm a teacher, I'm a student, I'm a, I was about to say professor, it's the same thing. you know, I work for the electric company. Like, that's not who you are. That's what you do, right? Who are you? Yes, check the link in bio. Thank you, sis. Who are you? Say your name. My name is, and I am. And so it was interesting because in the comment section of that quick little video, a lot of people couldn't identify who they are. They only could express easily what they do. I'm a mom, I'm a dad, I'm a child of God, I'm a this, I'm a that. But who are you to your core? Who are you? Right. Yep, everything, it was everything outside themselves. You know, I started to come up with my own answer to that question, but I figured I would ask y'all, who are you? You know what I'm saying? Tell me a bit about who you are at your core. Not what you do, what you do for others. Like one lady was like, I'm a healer. That's, again, what you do. Who are you? And I was like, First thing I thought of is I love myself. I'm a person that loves myself enough that I have boundaries. I love the things that I do. I do the things that I love, right? Um, and that's still describing what I do, but it's like I know that I'm a strong person. I'm a smart person. I'm a loving person. And I like that about me. I like me. Thank God I like me. I like me. But there's so many people in the comments and even in the art and the person she was asking, they don't know. Folks don't know who they are. I feel like I could still struggle with fully answering that question, but I have a better handle on it at this big age. Right? A lot of times we grow into understanding who we are because there's so much still to learn. There's so much that we've learned to get to whatever point we're at right now in our lives. And there's so much that can still change. Like nothing is necessarily etched in stone unless we refuse to change or we refuse to grow. I personally don't refuse to grow. I personally believe in evolving, changing, having new understandings, new vantage points, you know, new perspectives. Maybe I thought this way one day. Now I no longer think that because now I know this thing. And it has altered the way I once viewed X, Y, and Z. Get what I'm saying? And it also alters the way I view me because now I know who I am to a better degree. I understand myself better than I've ever did. And I feel like as I grow, I'm going to unpack and understand more because I still got questions about who I am. You know? So, you know, take out resonate. This particular session tonight was about unpacking a situation so that we could look within and cut these energy vampires out of our life. And why? Because, you know, I feel like life is like math. If when I was in high school or school age, right, and those teachers led with what I was going to use algebra or any of those higher level maths beyond that for, I probably would have understood it better because I could apply it to my life. And life is a lot like that. Sometimes we get a lot of information in, but we don't know how to apply that to our lives. So if this resonated with you, then hopefully a solution or the beginning of a solution resonated with you as well. That is the goal. That is always the goal of this channel, is to be on the version of yourself better than the day before, to heal. to heal and to keep healing. To not to regress, but if we do, to pick ourselves back up and keep going. To not blame ourselves for everything, but to be accountable and keep going, right? But to heal, right? Not that keep going, I just don't want to stop because if I stop, I'm blah, 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 blah. Nope, 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 nope. This is about growing. This is about healing your mind, your body, and your soul, and your spirit. But yeah, that's the reading. That's tonight's session. We'll pick it back up tomorrow. I think Empress Case will be coming around tomorrow. If not, I'll still be here. I will do live donation readings along with a collective reading. And then, like I said, if she's here, she'll join me with with the collective in the live donation reading. And then let's see, Friday, there's an art event I want to go to, so I may not be on. I don't know. I don't remember what time it is, but plan on gracing that place with my presence. Shit. Then I got to volunteer on Saturday. Hell no. I probably not gonna be on Friday, but tomorrow, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. You're right. And yeah, and then maybe Saturday. We'll see. We'll see how it go. You know. But I appreciate y'all. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you for your time. Black Cherry, as always, thank you for moderating, cutting out the crazies. I really always need you, girl. I need you. I need you. I need you. I appreciate you. All right. I'm going to bid y'all adieu. And peace.